That's right. Good night to Tom Chu's Bar down there in Denier Riviere. Good night to you all. And good night. Good night. You're going to get me in trouble, you know. You're going to get me in trouble. There's nothing on Facebook. Work on that, guys. Work on that. Work on that. There we go. Finally. Finally. Facebook is up. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I have to scream around there. Sometimes I have to get, you know, go into the back there, do some things, you know. And then it's working out. Special good night to the fans of Keeping It Real, the original crew on Sky FM 93.1 with the man Champagne. They're all there watching tonight. Special good night to all of you. Special good night to the St. Lucians in the diaspora, in Toronto, in Atlanta, Hartford, Connecticut, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Miami, Florida, St. Croix, BVI, all the way up there in North Dakota. I don't know what St. Lucian's doing there, but they're over there. Good night to you. And of course, that's it for the shout-outs. Now, you know, folks, sometimes, well, good night in the South. Hey, Miles, good night to you. Sometimes you hear some things, and you really wonder whether the person making the statement thought about what they were saying, you know, gave some, you know, a few minutes to think about the implications, the fallout, the sensibility in saying anything of the sort. And nada. So, there you go. There you go. All ready for y'all. Are you ready, folks? Is that good? All right, let's keep it real, you know. Let's keep it real. And tonight's episode is called The Queen's Chain. And you'll realize pretty soon why that is. But anyway, Kai Manger, good night to you. Good night, Kai Manger. House of food, house of eating. Philip J. Pierre, leader of the opposition and leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, cannot stop making these spurious statements, comments, whatever you want to call them. And you know what? I'll just let you listen for yourself because, you know, I just wanted to get the ridiculousness out of the way first before we got to deal with the real serious business tonight. And, well, you ready? Let's hear Philip J. Pierre.
When St. Lucians return home, do not treat them like criminals. Do not treat them like, have some humanity. I'm saying have some humanity. Do not treat them as if they are criminals or they have broken the law. Don't treat them like that. Because the treatment is not equal to tourists as it is for St. Lucians. It's not equal treatment. The St. Lucians are sent home to quarantine with armed police escorts, sirens, as if they have done some crime. My brothers and my sisters, they haven't done any crime because the same place they come from is the same place you want your tourists to come from. So why treat them as if they are criminals? Treat them humanely. Welcome them back home because they've done nothing wrong, my brothers and sisters. They have done nothing wrong.
All right, once again, the leader of the...
You know, folks, should I really make any comment on that? Treat them like criminals. When Philip J. Pierre or Dr. Kenny Anthony or Alan Chastney or John Compton travel and go to any other country in their diplomatic status and they have police outriders, they have special transportation, There are no hindrances to traffic. They pass right through. Do they feel like criminals? I mean, what foolishness is this? You get to St. Lucia as a returning national. Number one, you understand you're going to quarantine. That's a straight case. Number two, you're not paying any transportation to go there. They put you on a coaster or more than one vehicle. You have police outriders. You don't stop in the traffic. I mean, there are obvious reasons for that. And come on. We want to make sure that there is no opportunity for anybody to be reckless, for any person to have a lapse in judgment. And all the people coming into St. Lucia knew full well the situation, that they would be escorted with free transportation, with police, to the hotel where they're going to be in quarantine for 40 days. They get free meals, they chill out, they have cable TV, they can exercise if they want. Why would Philip JPS say that? When we've seen so many reports from St. Lucians who have been in quarantine, who have been escorted from the airport. Usually it takes about an hour to get up north, hour and 15 minutes to get to Starfish or wherever else. With the police escort from the airport, it takes them 10 minutes. That's right, 10 minutes. But Philip J. is complaining. But that is enough for that. This is the most unnecessary statement. It does nothing to accomplish the goals that St. Lucia wants to accomplish in these COVID times. And it deserves to be flushed. Flush that statement for me, please. And that's not a pit toilet. I mean a pit toilet. That's a real toilet. Flush it again. Papi show. Flush that, man. And Wasco just announced last week or a few days ago that we are no longer in a water emergency. So there's water to flush. Flush it. That's right. That's right. Now, to the next story on the list tonight. You know, a few people called me up last weekend. I think Saturday or somewhere around there. Friday, Saturday, I don't recall. And they say they saw somebody trying to imitate me on TV. I'm like, really? You know, like your buddy, really? I'm like, why? They said, this guy dressed up like you. He had a bow tie like you. I said, you serious? These are one-of-a-kind bow ties, you know. Nobody's just getting any bow tie like that. Say, he had a bow tie. And he put on some makeup or he did some magie with himself. And I'm like, but who could that be? Why would anybody want to imitate me? I know I'm, not that hard on the eyes. My gel lead. But I'm saying to myself, but maybe this individual is having some problems in his love life and wants to look like me. If they're a femme, let's just put it that way. By Wedderley, no pun intended. So he wants to look like me. The guy, all the shout outs and the calls and everything, maybe he's a little jealous. So I will let you see. I don't know. I've been trying to figure out who this guy is. For the life of me, I can't. Maybe somebody can identify him and let me know sometime during the week. But put up that photo they sent to me. Look at, my gosh, oh, bon Dieu. My gosh. Makes your skin crawl. Take him off. Avant me se fait moi pela. But some people said to me, he's not that good looking. He tried to imitate you. And they say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But I don't know if I can be flattered by that. That's a real poor attempt. But some people said, he still smells like the Masha River. I don't know what that's about. Was he swimming in the Masha River? Was he bathing in the Masha River? He had some water problems at his home. I don't know. But they say he might be still smelling like the Masha River. Now, why would somebody even go bathe in the Masha River when you know that is Philip J. Pierre's constituency and a number of his constituents there are doing it and flinging in plastic bags in the river? Shh, don't say it. They're flinging, shh, don't say it. But, you know, just put it up quick again. Maybe somebody could identify that crazy character. Okay, take it down. You see that look anything like me, folks? I mean, seriously. Seriously? Ubayen fa me ko hambu. But anyway, moving right along again. You see the concerted effort by some people to spew false information. But if you were bathing in the Masha River like that and people were flinging, you can't be around there. Flush mate. Flush him. Good night answering. Flush him again. Disgrace. Whoever you are. Try to imitate me. You can't imitate me. You know, can't imitate me. And you won't get no girls. But some people, I don't know, a few episodes ago, I spoke about the Cabot situation. And the attempts by some people to use Wasco inadvertently as a prop for the arguments against Cabot. And all of that water for a golf course, and how many millions of gallons a year are going to be used for the golf course. I mean, people who at least should be able to ask questions from the relevant or the appropriate places to get answers. But they choose to go on social media. They choose to just spew this nonsense out there because they have their motives. And even after keeping it real, where everybody in St. Lucia watches the show, and in the diaspora, even that ugly guy there a while ago, saw the episode where yours truly right here, explained the whole golf course situation. And I even showed a satellite photo. Put up the satellite photo for me there, please. You know, it's really sad. And this individual, who I know very well, Finola Jennings-Clark, we're good friends, nothing about that. But I'm surprised that Finola, so long afterwards, after the information is out there, wrote a blog and actually went to the US Golf website and looked up formulas and calculated how many millions of gallons a year would be used. And up north in the Cape State area, that one of the conditions there is that you have at least 5,000 gallons of storage for water. And that, look at this satellite photo that I showed. When was that? When was that episode? In what month? At least 2 months ago, folks. And that there, if you can't make it out, is the Wasco sewage treatment plant at Beauséjour in Grosley. And if you live in that area, you don't have a septic tank, you go through the city sewer. City sewer, there you go. And these ponds, and in the middle you can see the water, it's like a fountain. Clean out the sewage, and these ponds just evaporate. This is just the water, gray water. Well, not gray water, it's dark water. There, it's not fit for human consumption. But you can sprinkle grass with it. You can water your lawn. And you can water a golf course. As a matter of fact, Sandals Grand at Pigeon Island Causeway, Sandal has a golf course, Cap Estate Golf Course. And there are the pipes, folks. Sandals has a pipe all the way from the Beausejour plant up to their golf course. And that's what they use to water the lawn, the grass. And Cabot is in a similar arrangement with Wasco to do the same. But if these people could go to the US Gulf site, USGC or whatever it is, and get all of this information, and I mean there was information if you're in a hot climate and the comments that were there, and this, that, all the brain boxes, the experts crawled out from wherever they were to give their expert opinions on watering a golf course. And there are hotels in St. Lucia with desalinization plants. There are those who do the same thing with sewage. They treat it the hotel sewage. Well, I don't know. I just don't know. But since there's no clock here tonight, we're going on until I say so, right? Now, that's enough of those stories, because I wanted to get them out of the way. Really wanted to get them out of the way. And let's get into the action tonight, folks. And before we really delve into it, I'm telling you, take your time. I'm going to go nice and slow so you understand. I want you to put up that photo, that diagrammatic representation, or that photographic representation, so that everybody can understand. I know sometimes when people explain, you get an idea, but you don't quite get the idea until you get a visual. So put up the visual that I put together for everybody of the Queen's Chain. There you go, folks. And as you can see, you have the sea to your right, and you have the beach, the sand, as we move left. You see that green line there? That green line represents the high water mark, or in other words, high tide. At high tide, the sea doesn't get any further up than that green line. So that's the high water mark. From the high water mark, 186.5 feet inland from the high tide mark is what is referred to as the Queen's Chain. Uwailakuma, Queen's Chain. So all of that land from the green line to the red line, 186.5 feet apart, that is what the Queen's Chain is. The Queen's Chain is not the beach. Okay, folks? The Queen's Chain is not the beach. The Queen's Chain is from the high tide mark, 186.5 feet inland. That is the Queen's Chain. And if you build property, or you get a lease in St. Lucia to build property, to do anything in there, you have to make access available to the public so that they can access the beach. Not for them to access the Queen's Chain, for them to access the beach. Now, as you can see here, the houses or the buildings or the businesses that are on the Queen's Chain there, we're going to say it's the Queen's Chain. Don't really have to make any special access, because a little further down, there's access. But in St. Lucia, if it is deemed that there needs to be access, then in your lease agreement for the Queen's Chain, there will be that stipulation that you must make access available if it is a requirement for you. Plain and simple. Now, on Redway Beach, you have the St. Lucian Hotel, and you have the access at the ramp. So St. Lucian Hotel didn't really need to do anything special. St. Lucia Yacht Club didn't need to do anything special because there's access right there. And Bay Gardens Resort on the end didn't need to do anything special because the ramp is there that you can access the beach. So now you understand. You understand. Good. So, all of the talk, we saw it last week. Jack don't want me to bathe on my beach, and the Cabot situation was ringing, and the SLP was there, and they went for photo ops, and you had the usual suspects involved on Casabah Beach. You even had members of the St. Lucia National Trust there. All the satellites and hackerlacks may say, if you watch the videos, the same faces. All those who were opposed for whatever reasons they could find. Fake stories about the government had leased the beach at Casabah, that Lucians would have no more access, that the government had leased Donkey Beach, that the government had leased Secret Beach. Sapavwe. That's not true. It is not true. It is not true. And Cabot, under the terms and conditions of their lease, will have to make access available to the public. None of these people have shown you any conclusive evidence to prove otherwise. It is not true. Last Marty, stop lying. You're lying because there's no evidence to prove that. There's no evidence of that. But always the doom and gloom. Mon Dieu, cette lycée pas ça allait en les beach là. Qui ça chasse comme Come on, man. Others autres pas qu'en honte, messieurs. I mean, some of them will say chasne 200 times in an hour. Zot pas qu'à last month. It is not true. I am saying it here categorically tonight. It's not true, folks. That is not true. There is no agreement between the government and anyone to lease the beach, which would cause St. Lucians not to have access. That is not true. And remember, I said that there were members of the St. Lucia National Trust on the beach that day. Jack don't want me to bathe on my beach, Jack. Some of the people there, too many of them, don't know when they were ever at Casabah Beach, much less even support the premises that they were making all the noise about. But, you know, I told you in the promo this afternoon that I was going to come. I don't come with talk, you know. I don't just come and say the government leased the beach and Lucians won't have access like some people without evidence, you know. I don't come and say things like that. If I don't have the evidence to present to you so you could conduct your own analysis of the paralysis, I don't go with it. Good night to Ancillary, Market Street in Ancillary. Big up Ancillary. That's the real Ancillary village. Everywhere in Ancillary, when Keeping It Real is on, everything stops. Good night down there by the Ancillary Square. Jude's and everybody else. Good night to you all. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you to that sports bar in St. Croix and all over in Brooklyn. I was just told the other day there's a sports bar in Brooklyn that when Keeping It Real comes on, full screen, full steam ahead. That's right. So, there is a lease I want to show you folks. But before we get into that, a long time ago in St. Lucia, you have the time, we're going back in time. What we're going to do right here is go back, way back into time, folks. You'll play it in a while, don't worry. St. Lucia wanted to do some major works in the north of the island. The causeway to Pigeon Point and the Rodney Bay Marina, what we know now as the Rodney Bay Marina. But St. Lucia didn't have all the money to pay for it. So in order to undertake the largest construction, if you will, project, or the largest works in the Southern Caribbean at that time, and this was through the Commonwealth Development Corporation, which had a subsidiary or under the umbrella of the CDC, you had, and many of you may not have heard of it, Rodney Bay Limited. And in order to fund or to make the monies available for that, the government of St. Lucia at the time, in 1970, if I recall correctly, gave to Rodney Bay Limited the lands of Rodney Heights, Rodney Bay area, and Pigeon Island. That's right. It was an island. Pigeon Island was the property, became the property of Rodney Bay Limited. That's right, folks. Rodney Bay Limited owned Rodney Heights and all of that area there, and Pigeon Island, because St. Lucia did not have the money, so they were, in essence, paid for in kind, or there was an arrangement that they would hold on to that. Now, let's go back a little bit to 1983. Let's go back. We're going to go back anyway, without the time tunnel. We're going to go back quietly. What we're going to do, drop it. We're going to go back now. The time tunnel.
What we're going to do right here is go back. Way back. Back into time.
And we're going to go to 1983, folks. Not that one. Not yet. We're going to go to 1983. You ready with lease 1 to 6? There you go. Don't mess me up here now tonight. This is important. So let's go. Let's establish the facts tonight, folks. Pay attention. So I want you to pay serious attention. Before we get to that, the St. Lucia National Trust came into being in 1975. If you're going to write down, just pay attention. The St. Lucia National Trust came into being in 1975. Now, Pigeon Island and the Rodney Heights and the lands over there were ceded over to Rodney Bay Limited about 1970, when the causeway and the marina were built. I can hear you all talking in there. I'm hearing you all talking in there. So let us go now to lease number 1, 1983. See the first page there, folks? You see at the top there, the first highlighted part of it. It says, dated the 15th day of November, 1983, the lease by, don't go too fast, don't go too fast, Rodney Bay Limited to, so the lease is from Rodney Bay Limited to the St. Lucia National Trust of a portion of the land known as Pigeon Island. Now, take that down. Take that down. Now remember, at the Casaba thing, political jump up that they had 2 Sundays ago, the whole thing was about access to the beach. Lucians can access the beach. They can, the government list Donkey Beach, the government list Casaba, the government list Secret Beach. Lucians are going to be able to go to the beach. Oh, Shasne. that Lucians will not be able to go to the beach. Members of the National Trust were there. And last week I said to you that the only place in St. Lucia where the public of St. Lucia did not have unfettered access to the beach was at Pigeon Island, Pigeon Point, under the auspices, under the control of the St. Lucia National Trust. And that was the hot one last week. And you heard it here first, right here on Keeping It Real. Because I give you the evidence. So now we're going to go to that list. Let's go. Pull it up again. Not that page, the first page. That's right. A lease by Rodney Bay Limited, because remember, the government had given Rodney Bay Limited, Pigeon Island, and the Rodney Heights area, property, all in that area, in lieu of the monies that they got from the CDC with its subsidiary, or whatever you want to call it, Rodney Bay Limited. They gave it to them because we didn't have the money and they put in the money. So now, in 1983, Rodney Bay Limited leased, écoutez-moi bien, Rodney Bay Limited leased Pigeon Island to the St. Lucia National Trust, folks. To the St. Lucia National Trust. And let's go to the next page so that you can see from the top. It says before or between Rodney Bay Limited, a company duly incorporated under the commercial code of the state of St. I'm just setting the facts for you. Keep it real. Now, the next place, now we have Rodney Bay Limited is leasing the property, Pigeon Island. And down below now, and who it is with, or who it is being leased to, the St. Lucia National Trust, a body corporate incorporated by virtue of the St. Lucia National Trust Act. Remember I told you, 1975. Acting herein and represented, listen who represented the trust, Julian Robert Hunt and Robert DeVoe, chairman and secretary respectively of the said trust. So let's go down a little bit. Whereas the lessor, that is Rodney Bay Limited, is the owner of a portion of land formerly an island known as Pigeon Island, now connected to the island of St. Lucia by land reclamation, having acquired the same from the government of St. Lucia by virtue of deed of sale executed. So, Pigeon Island, the Rodney Bay Limited acquired Pigeon Island by a deed of sale executed before Lorenzo Alexander Williams, Notary Royal, on the 18th of June 1970 and registered on the 19th of June 1970 as Zotsa Ale, Checkley, the facts, the evidence, volume 110, number 93565. Don't say I don't give it to you. Next page. Oh, where's that therewith thing I see there? Go back to the previous, yeah. And whereas the lessor, that is St. Lucia National Trust, Monsieur, let me take it easy. And whereas the lessor, who is Rodney Bay Limited, is desirous of leasing the said Pigeon Island unto the lessee, and the lessee is the St. Lucia National Trust, for the purpose of its development, listen well, folks, for the purpose of its development as a national park and of such other facilities which may properly be associated therewith. Let's go to the next page. Let's go to A at the bottom. A, to develop and improve the demised premises as a national park as contemplated in respect of a certain portion thereof by virtue of clause 6D1 of an agreement made between the government of St. Lucia, Construction and Dredging Limited, that's matter law, and the lessor, which is the St. Lucia Rodney Bay Limited. On the 30th of May, 1970. And it tells you what's the agreement, what needs to be done. By planting appropriate flowering trees. Next page. By appropriate trees and shrubs, laying out walkways, maintaining ancient buildings and monuments so as to preserve and beautify the said demised premises, and to construct and maintain such other facilities as may properly be associated with a national park, and not to use the same other than for the purpose of establishing a national park for the enjoyment of all residents of St. Lucia and all visitors thereto. But let's scroll up a little bit. It begins to get more interesting, the terms and conditions in that lease. Scroll it up for the people to see on the, hold it there on the 100-inch screen. B, not to undertake any commercial activity or operation on the demised premises other than those which are hereby declared to be specifically excluded from the said prohibition. So in essence, the lease is saying you're not allowed to do anything else on Pigeon Island except, or to wit, and here's what the trust is allowed to do on Pigeon Island: the establishment of a bar and restaurant and a museum with fees chargeable for entering the same. What is the same? For entering the restaurant or for entering the museum. And with facilities for the sale, listen well, of printed material and other matters of historical or national interest, and any other activity, listen well folks, la loi, and any other activity approved in writing by the lessor. Now who is the lessor? The lessor at the time was Rodney Bay, St. Lucia. Now, Rodney Bay Limited. Now, listen to this, folks. Come back to me there for a second. Come back to me. Folks, we've heard all the crying from the Central National Trust. They had a building there to put a museum. They had the opportunity to do it. They closed down the museum. The government gave them a subvention from the get-go of $700,000 per year. $700,000. The trust had the opportunity of raising funds. They closed down the museum. And instead, they opened up Derek Walcott House. And what happened there? They're making money there. They took money to do all of that. Not that Derek Walcott is not important to St. Lucia. But if you have limited finances, if you have limited yourself in earning monies, you don't go and create more expenses there, do you? The whole big tralala down on Grass Street and Chaussee Road there, Derek Walcott House. Question is, where are the artifacts? Where are they? Where? From the museum? In a box somewhere? So the potential to make money, nada. But the trust now went and charged an entrance fee to Pigeon Island. They put a fence on the north end, on the south end. They put a gate. They put a wall. But I'll show you those in a while. In fact, you can put them up for me. Show me the main gate. Main gate. Entrance. There you go. That's the main gate. All of you know it so well. Almost everybody and their dog has been to Pigeon Island. Right? Let's see the entrance sign. I told you the trust is charging. It says, whoever entered or is found in or on the grounds during the hours when it is not open to the public, listen to this, when it is not open to the public is guilty of a contravention of the bylaws. A charge may be made for entrance into the park, but you have to pay. Show them the first picture of the entrance. Not that one, the other one before. You can't just enter. You have to go past there. You have to pay to enter. Let's see the wall. Well, there's the wall. You can't just walk into the park. There's a wall. Pigeon Island. There's a wall. Let's see the fence, the north fence. There you go. You can't go to the beach. You have to pay. And that fence is going out into the sea. Asu wash. Si ou tombe là. Hol ko pa bon. Let's see the other, the southeast or the south fence along the beach. You don't have it there? The other one is giving you trouble? All right. But those of you who didn't know, just a little information. Let me know when it's up. Just a little information. Do you know that the beach along the causeway actually has a name? It's called DeGrasse Beach. That's right. DeGrasse. That was all the research I did to keep it real with you all. How many of you knew that? DeGrasse Beach. I hope I remember I got it right. I didn't write it down. But let's go to the next page. Let's go to the next page of the lease. Page. There you go. F. Imposing a charge or charges for entry into the demised premises. Listen well. Listen well, folks. Or for the use of the facility. You see, it is very important to pay attention to the details. Right? Now, remember earlier, I mentioned the fees to be charged were for the museum or the restaurant. Remember that. Or imposing restrictions in respect thereof, not to differentiate between persons indigenous to the state of St. Lucia and persons visiting the state on holiday or otherwise. You hear that, folks? So that it's supposed to be equal fees for everyone. But I want to get to something in there. Hold on there. I want to go to the third page. You have the third page there? Go back. Go back again to the front page. Go back to the next page. Okay, that's the first. Go to the next one. And the next page. Okay. And okay, if you scroll up, okay, at the bottom there, it says, remember we read that, to develop and improve the demised premises as a national park, as contemplated, listen well folks, contemplated in respect of a certain portion thereof by virtue of clause 6D1 of an agreement. Oh, of an agreement. But before we get to that agreement, remember 6D1. Let us go to the deed of sale. Because in the year of our Lord, 2000, Pigeon Point was sold to the government of St. Lucia. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the crown. Guess how much it was sold for? $1. That's right, folks. It was Pigeon Island, or Pigeon Point, because it had then been connected to the mainland via the causeway, was sold by Rodney Bay Limited to the crown for $1. And this was executed, and it was not an accident. It was executed on the first day of August 2000. Which government was in office at the time? Dr. Kenny Anthony. And the first day of August, and in 2000, what was that day? Emancipation Day, folks. Emancipation Day. And we hear all the talk about colonialists. And how we're going back to colonialism. And Chasney want to sell the land on people and his poor people. And I don't know which poor people own land at Cap Estate. Or property at Cap Estate. But it's colonialism all again. And look, we just passed, just the other day, you heard the talk, folks. We just had the Emancipation Day, and it's like we're going back in slavery, and people come in and take our land. And papi show. It's private lands that were sold. Private lands. And then you have Cabot rolled all in one into that. You know? Bait and switch and doom and gloom. Cabot. And they will tell you, they're giving our pensioners money to an investor who's supposed to stop the foolishness, man. I have stated here on multiple occasions, it has been stated elsewhere, statements have been made from the NIC, the National Insurance Corporation, that they are authorized to give loans. If the National Insurance Corporation can invest in a number of different ways, stocks and bonds, loans, purchasing properties in real estate, why is it okay for the National Trust to be able to invest on Wall Street through a broker or through an entity? You buy Apple stocks or whatever, and Apple turns around with the money you invest in them and invests it in other businesses. You think Apple doesn't invest? Then you don't know anything about business. You don't know anything about making money. So if you don't, let people who are the professionals tell you about it. As the professionals at the National Insurance Corporation did. Isaac Anthony, he gave it to you live and direct. But these jokers out there, these misleaders, these propagandists, those with the Chagouin pouvoir, trying to make the government look bad. The government giving away pensioners' money. Betties, stop lying. The National Insurance Corporation can invest on Wall Street and get a percentage back. It may be a good investment at that time. It may not be so good, and what you get back is not so good, not so much. Think about it. But you have a situation in St. Lucia where an investor comes in, the National Insurance Corporation sees the benefit of giving a loan to that investor. There's nothing wrong in that. A loan is an investment. If you're getting interest on it, it's an investment. If I give you $20 as a loan and I tell you I want $25 back, it's an investment. If you don't understand the finance, don't let people mislead you. It is an investment. Anytime ou mette un bagay adan, et kou rajwen vie, pli passe ou mette adan, c'est un investment, messieurs. Stop letting people malmene your cerveau. Yo drill tout en tête pour tout cerveau sorti. They're insulting your intelligence because they believe, well, il pa ale l'école finance. Il pa ale l'école. Il pa kay sa kopon sa. So they tell you, they unload on you this drivel, this Kool-Aid of Papi Show. I didn't know Kool-Aid had a Papi Show flavor, but that's what they're feeding you all. That's what they're feeding you all. Do not let these people mislead you. It is an investment. But listen to this. Let me break it down for you folks. The loan to Cabot is $10 million US. Let's just say it's $50 million. Let's round off the figures, make it easy. If I'm sitting here, and one of the guys at the back, they says, Norbert, you know what? I need a loan of $30, right? Which is what Cabot got from the NIC. And I say, okay, I'll give you $30, but give me $120 in security, jewelry. And the guy says, hey, $120 in jewelry. When I pay you back, you give me back my jewelry. Is that not a good? How can I go wrong there? Even if that guy doesn't pay me back, I have $120 in jewelry. Say, member Gaila. The NIC loan is backed by property that Cabot purchased. The old Raffles property. The security of the land the NIC said that they wanted is 3 times the value of the loan, $90 million. If Cabot gone broke, bankrupt, tout by tombé, investors volé, tout by, today, tomorrow, the NIC has tripled the value of the loan that it can sell, that it can create a project with, that it can do things with. How is that a bad thing for the pensioners of St. Lucia? How? How, Mash? How is it a bad thing for the people of St. Lucia? For the pensioners, for the contributors to the NIC? And on top of all of that again, the NIC is getting interest on that loan. So if the loan works out fine and there's no problem, the NIC makes a profit. But that is how the NIC is able to continue paying into the future. How do you think banks make money? You think the bank just has your money sitting in a vault there? The banks give loans. That's an investment. When you deposit money in the bank and you get whatever kakadon they give you, 1%, 0.5%, 3%, 6%, whatever instrument you use, or however you do it in the bank. That's an investment, folks. That is an investment. You get in a return. You get in more. Even if it's 50 cents, you get more. But I'm not going to hold you for too long. So we'll take a break and I'll come back with the bombshell tonight. Run quick, call your nenen, whoever's late, whoever's out there, call them. The bombshell is coming up next. Right back after the break.
Avoid congestion and traffic associated with Castries City and Rodney Bay shopping and come to Gablewoods Mall. We have everything you'd possibly want, from a sprawling supermarket to a complete furniture store, from your choice of elegant boutiques to professional photography, dry cleaning, a hardware store, medical facilities, drugstores, hair and beauty salons, an eyewear center, and so much more. We truly do have it all, along with a food court which provides sumptuous meals and free Wi-Fi while you dine. Parking is plentiful and shopping times most convenient. Come to Gablewoods Mall. We're the mall that started it all.
T-Banan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, nestled within Coco Palm, a boutique hotel in the heart of entertainment capital Rodney Bay, offers a truly unique experience with the best food, drinks, and music. Open 7 a.m. to 12 midnight daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. T-Banan specializes in authentic French Caribbean cuisine, delectable tropical cocktails, and the best live entertainment on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. T-Banan also offers catering for weddings, special occasions, and conferences. For reservations, call 456-2800 or email reservations@coco-resorts.com. T-Banan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, where passion meets quality.
T-Banan Caribbean Bistro is now open for takeaway and delivery only. Place your orders by calling 456-2866 or 724-9309 or email orders@coco-resorts.com. Takeaway orders to be collected at hotel reception area and delivery fees vary on your location.
The Bryce water tanks are of top quality and highly durable.
It's a monolithic tank, meaning it's just one unit, which makes it stronger than the other tanks, which comes in 2 pieces. It also carries a HealthGuard lining, which is FDA approved.
Bryce and Company. Build for living, build for life.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Now, I want you to remember in the lease agreement between Rodney Bay Limited and the St. Lucia National Trust, there was reference being made to a previous agreement between the government of St. Lucia, Matalon, the construction company, the dredging company, and Rodney Bay Limited. And the lease was made with the National Trust between Rodney Bay Limited and the National Trust on condition that they follow clause 6D1 of the agreement which was made between the three entities on the 30th May 1970. Now, let me tell you something, folks. There you go. 30th of May 1970. Now, it doesn't matter what came before, it doesn't matter what came after. The National Trust is still the lessor, the lessee on Pigeon Island, Pigeon Point. But you know the funny thing about it, you have Fat Boy there to laugh for me tonight? No. The funny thing about it is that the National Trust got a lease for 99 years at $1 a year, may say $1 a year. And it was only last year that they ran, I don't know why, they got a sipsion of something. They ran last year to pay for at least 20 years that they had not paid for at $1 a year. Est-ce que moun sa manage l'argent? Are they serious? That's what you have to ask yourself. You cannot even keep up to date on rent of $1 a year for Pigeon Point. It leaves you to wonder who is in charge of the books at the National Trust. Who? And they have no owls in St. Lucia. Who is it? Who was responsible for that? I didn't get it today. Next week I'll show you the receipt. Next week I'll show you the receipt. Si zotko en a joué. You'll run to pay 20 years. A simple $1 a year. Y'all cannot even keep up to date on that. Mais zotka hele. Now, there's this thing from DeVoe. Put that up in a report from DeVoe about 20 years ago to the director's report, 1992, 1993. Scroll down to that paragraph there that I asked you to. Okay, there we go. After the bulleted points, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the paragraph below. The trust will probably stabilize its staff at about 50 employees. The budget will peak at about $1.2 million EC annually, and its assets and revenue are expected to grow sufficient. Kutesa, DeVoe in 92-93 said that the revenue, the assets and revenue are expected to grow sufficiently to keep it viable, that is the trust viable, while reducing its dependence upon a government subvention. But you still take a dépend on le gouvernement. The same thing that is at contention and is the problem. Right? They still. Right? So what is that saying to you there, folks? Right? What is that saying to you? This is not a wishful thinking but the reality of thrifty management of our resources, the trust resources, meaningful deployment of Pigeon Island and other attractions, meaningful development, that is, of Pigeon Island and other attractions, and wise investment of our modest savings. Certainly. That's the director's report in 1992-93. Say, memba na deal, memba gaila, right? Memba gaila. So now Now, we go to the interesting part of things. Stay tuned. We come to the interesting part of tonight's action. Now, I want you, don't do anything yet. Don't do anything yet. They refer to 6D1. Now, I didn't read that. Well, anyway, let's go to the first page of the of the plans. Let's go to plans, number 1. You have that? There we go. Pull it up for the people. Whilst you all look at that, folks, right? Whilst you all look at that, what is referred to? I got to get it for you there, folks. Hold on a second. Hold on. Don't panic. You got so much stuff going on there. Reference is made to 6D1 in the lease arrangement, and it refers to the shaded area in yellow. Now, there's no color there. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. Hold on a second, folks. Hold on. It's a little faux pas on my part here. Hold on a second. It says the shaded area in yellow. Now, if you notice there, folks, you see National Park at the top of Pigeon Point. The tallest, where you see park written, that's the tallest spot. And where you see to the left of that, where 100 is, that's where the fort is, right? Now, down below, you see a shaded area. There's like a dotted line going through there. That is what was described as the park area, the highlighted area on that map. That is where the national park was supposed to be. Not the entire island, folks, because this refers to section 6D or clause 6D1. Hold on, watch it well. Take it all in. It was not the entire island, but here's the bombshell coming up. Let's go to the next page. I want you to see. Go to the top, to the top. Okay, there you go. I want you to go in sequence just with me. Number 6, the undertaking by the government. Let's go to the next page. So you see 6A, B, C. Now this is the original agreement between the 3 parties, and this section is what is supposed to be the big kahuna. 6D, where it says Pigeon Island, up, go up, Pigeon Island, and then we go down to 1. And here's what it says. The company, that is Rodney Bay Limited, shall have the right, this is what is used as the clause for the adoption of the National Trust. The company shall have the right, but shall not be obliged to develop Pigeon Island other than the area shaded yellow as a national park only, but shall be obliged to afford to the public free access to the island. SOA. Read it again, folks. 6D1. The clause that was referred to in the lease agreement with the St. Lucia National Trust and the lessor, who is Rodney Bay Limited. 6D1 says the company, that is Rodney Bay Limited, and this is what Pigeon Island, the St. Lucia National Trust, has to undertake now, shall have the right, but shall not be obliged to develop Pigeon Island other than the area shaded yellow as a national park only, but shall be obliged to afford to the public free access to the island. I want Pigeon Island open tomorrow. Free to the public, the beach. Free up the beach. Take it down. SOA. SOA. Right there. Registered. Documents. Mio tutla. So it says that the initial agreement between the government of St. Lucia, Construction and Dredging Limited, and the lessor, which is Rodney Bay Limited, on the 30th of May 1970, the clause in that agreement is what is used as the condition for the St. Lucia National Trust to lease Pigeon Island. Think about that. We're taking one last break and we're coming back for your calls, folks. Anwale.
Avoid the congestion and traffic associated with Castries City and Rodney Bay shopping and come to Gablewoods Mall. We have everything you'd possibly want, from a sprawling supermarket to a complete furniture store, from your choice of elegant boutiques to professional photography, dry cleaning, a hardware store, medical facilities, drugstores, hair and beauty salons, an eyewear center, and so much more. We truly do have it all, along with a food court which provides sumptuous meals and free Wi-Fi while you dine. Parking is plentiful and shopping times most convenient. Come to Gablewoods Mall. We're the mall that started it all.
Tibanan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, nestled within Coco Palm, a boutique hotel in the heart of entertainment capital Rodney Bay, offers a truly unique experience with the best food, drinks, and music. Open 7 a.m. to 12 midnight daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Tibanan specializes in authentic French Caribbean cuisine, delectable tropical cocktails, and the best live entertainment on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Tibanan also offers catering for weddings, special occasions, and conferences. For reservations, call 456-2800 or email reservations@coco-resorts.com. Tibanan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, where passion meets quality.
Tibanan Caribbean Bistro is now open for takeaway and delivery only. Place your orders by calling 456-2866 or 724-9309 or email orders@coco-resorts.com. Takeaway orders to be collected at hotel reception area and delivery fees vary on your location.
The Bryce water tanks are of top quality and highly durable.
It's a monolithic tank, meaning it's just one unit, which makes it stronger than the other tanks, which comes in two pieces. It also carries a Hellguard lining, which is FDA approved.
Bryce and Company, build for living, build for life.
Well, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. I know you made a quick run. I'm going to read, let's go back to that last clause that we read from the 1970 agreement between the three entities. Let's get that back up there, please. Some people may have forgotten already because I want to lead into this segment with that information. But I'll read it for you. The company shall have the right, but shall not be obliged to develop Pigeon Island. Now, the company here, since Pigeon Island was sold to the government for $1, it means that the development by the National Trust here, the company shall have the right, but shall not be obliged to develop Pigeon Island. So the entity who's in control is the National Trust, other than the area shaded yellow, well, no yellow there, as a national park. So it means that not the entire area of Pigeon Island was to be a national park. But it says, the area shaded yellow as a national park only the area shaded in yellow, but shall be obliged to afford to the public free access to the island. So that means you should have free access to the beach. Now you got that photo I sent you? Put it up for them to see. Because if Pigeon Island is within the borders and the boundaries of St. Lucia, then it is subject to the same Queen's Chain rules and laws. There it is. Zoom it in. Uve. Puse munlaway. Now this is a photo before there was a causeway. And look, dead ahead in the center of Pigeon Island, what you see? A beach. So the beach and the Queen's Chain behind it, that is why the park would have been higher up and along the top, the flatter area there and around. Nothing at the back piece, pa there, say cliff, say kaye. So they could have charged if they wanted to go there. Really? But shall be obliged to afford to the public free access to the island. It doesn't even say that. And you know why? It doesn't even say they should charge. That's the condition under which the St. Lucia National Trust leased Pigeon Island. And you know the reason for that? The logics behind that? You know what it is? It's because the government gave so much. The government gave so much for Pigeon Island, for Rodney Heights, for the development of the causeway, and paid so much that this Pigeon Island, natural, what? What's it say there? National Park or beach access should be free to the people. It should be free to the people. But if they want to charge for entering the museum, they could do it. That's there. Mweli Baizot. Put the numbers up. Let's get the calls. Now, after this here, folks. Now, I didn't know the time, and it came up half an hour late, so you got to give me half an hour tonight. But anyway, CDC photo. Of course, last week, or a few days before that, when there was this whole report out, St. Lucia was categorized as number 3 worst case by the CDC. They were on St. Lucia. St. Lucia doing so bad. All this talk Shasnet doing on the CMO. Bondiers by mal. All the hackalacks, all the satellites were out because it was an opportunity to lash St. Lucia, no matter how erroneous that was. They didn't say, how dare you all put that on St. Lucia? We know better than that. But no, it was an opportunity for them to lambaste the government. But you know what, folks? This one came out saying that St. Lucia was the only one of 8 in the world to be, as far as COVID-19 is concerned, in category 1. Show the other 8 islands on the next one, the 8 countries. Scroll it down. Level 1, COVID risk is low. Bonaire, Fiji, New Zealand, Saba, St. Bartholomew, St. Lucia, St. Eustatius, and Thailand. Top 8 in the world. You hear anything from these hackalacks? We have a call. Good night, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good. On the Capistate issue about the water, the Wasco stuff.
Yes.
I remember Sandals is not using the sewer system again, because many years ago, prior to Sandals owning the golf course, they used to use the sewer system, and it used to pump a lot of water, and it used to smell, and also it was making the residents of the area very sick, where they threatened lawsuits to go to court. So I think you need to update yourself on that.
Well, Cole, I think you need to update yourself on that, because the information I have from Wasco is that system is still operational.
Okay,
more than likely, there may have been some more filtering done, that this is no longer a problem.
Okay.
But recently, I spoke with Wasco on this issue, and they did say that Sandals is still in an arrangement with them for the watering of their golf course from the Bosseju.
I give you the benefit of the doubt, but from the area, that's why I'm asking you that. Secondly, Pigeon Island had another lease.
They had a what?
a lease. They used to have a lady by the name of Josette Snowball living on the island.
Right. Well, caller, I'll get
happened
into
to
that.
her?
That's pre
returned the
1970, and it
lease
doesn't
back
factor
in the
into what's going
80s.
on now.
What's that?
That was pre 1970, and it
No,
doesn't factor into what's
but
what's
the
going on
lease
since
was
then.
returned in the 80s when she went back to England.
What's that you said?
The lease was returned in the 80s, so I think you need to do a little homework on that.
The what? The what?
The lease was returned in the early 80s.
But caller, that is all well and good, but that does not affect what we're discussing tonight. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of other caller, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of other happenings with Pigeon Island. But as I said, that it does not really play into anything as far as the trust, Rodney Bay Limited, matter law, the government of St. Lucia, the lease and the sale of Pigeon Island. Okay?
Yeah,
Thank you very much, caller. Right. So, nothing from the Hakalaks about St. Lucia in this, again, staring you in the face from the nonsense. St. Lucia's the worst prepared in the region. Time after time, St. Lucia continues to rise. But these people who have no love for country continue to sabotage the country in the things they say, what they write, what they post on social media, but yet still, St. Lucia rises above the nonsense. And before we go, 450-0777, we have a call. Good night. You're on the line. Let's keep it real.
Yes, Mr. William.
Yes, good night.
Yeah, this is Opicon again. Yeah.
Good night, Opicon.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you're feeling good tonight, Mr. Norbert, but I feel really upset myself.
Why are you upset?
Because, as you mentioned, national trust. We don't have nothing like national trust in St. Lucia. What we have is an organization group, party hacks that...
You say that, caller?
That continue to mislead the people of St. Lucia and trying to prevent the government from developing the country. This is exactly what we are. We don't have nothing like national trust in
So,
St.
caller,
Lucia.
do you think that the National Trust should open up Pigeon Point as of tomorrow? No more fees?
Exactly. Because they have something saying, the old people have something saying, like, people guate yo mete boudin mama yo dehors.
Mais Adam yo te kasaba. Ka chante Jack the want me to bathe on my beach.
Yeah, this is exactly what...
And the irony of it is
now.
that the only beach in St. Lucia where people did not have free access was on Pigeon Point under the National Trust. But they were at Kasaba, some of them were at Kasaba in the political jump-up. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for calling Opicon. Thanks for keeping it real. Folks, you ready with St. Jude's? Let's give them the new photos of St. Jude's before we get off the air tonight. That's the disaster place there. That was there. Good night. You're on the air. Let's keep it real. Good night.
Good night. Good night, Mr. Williams.
Yes, good night, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
All right.
Keep it real tonight.
Yeah, quick. I've never called any talk show before, but
good. Thank you for calling.
I like your talk show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you've proven these the other administration wrong several times. I hope they're listening. I only hope they can listen. You know,
all of them listening. All of them. They're all listening.
I hope so. I hope so. But continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much for calling. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Another satisfied caller to Keeping It Real. Good night. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hey, good night.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, I call in about carbon link.
Yes.
So carbon link, is it a foreign investment or a St. Lucian investment?
No, it's a foreign company, Canadian.
So how can a foreign company come and NIC giving them money to invest?
Because NIC is making an investment in the company that they're getting.
No, NIC that making an investment is not Carbon Links.
But Carbon Links is investing in St. Lucia. The
Yeah, well,
loan.
that's not
Hold on,
foreign
caller,
money.
hold on,
That's
hold
not-
on.
Okay.
Let me just give you some information. The investment by the NIC or the loan is only 10% or less of the total cost of the project. The money that the NIC gave or loaned to Cabot is not the total cost of the project. It's only about 10% or less of the entire project. So NIC is not funding the project. It gave them a loan of 10% of it.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
the company, caller, it makes no sense. If the NIC could do the same thing in New York, why can't they do the same thing in St. Lucia? And
they
what
can
you're
do it
going
in
to
New
have
York
more,
because
hold on a
they're doing,
second, hold on a second. What you're going to have more is not only interest that you get back, you're going to get jobs, waiters, cooks, taxi drivers, golf caddies. You're going to
I
have
understand, but what I'm
utilities
saying,
paid.
NIC could have purchased the land and then sell it to Cabot.
But
Yes, NIC could have purchased the land and sell it to Cabot.
you gave NIC the money to purchase the land?
So how they loan Cabot the money?
Caller, the property costs more. Like I said to you, it costs only 10%. The loan is 10%.
So how much was for the property? Do you have a figure?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Well,
But
the next time
307.
you come
Hold
on
on,
the
hold,
show,
caller. It's a back and forth. How much do you think that 375 acres would cost? Okay? Do the maths. Thank you very much for calling. Thanks for keeping it real. Folks, does that mean that the NIC should invest all of its money on Wall Street? Good night. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hello?
Yes, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, sir.
In listening to your show,
Yes.
on the list that you presented to the public there a while ago that you read out between, I think it's
Rodney Bay
Limited.
That's right.
And the trust.
Yes.
Firstly, this list is null and void.
Why?
Rodney Bay development does not exist anymore.
So?
That is why the land was sold
caller.
That is why the land was sold at a symbolic price of $1.
Caller, one more
to the
time.
National
Hold
Trust.
on. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Maybe you seem to forget that along with the lease to the trust in 1983, in 2000, the very same property was sold to the Crown for $1 on the 1st of August 2000. You remember that?
And the government invested that land into the National Trust.
Caller.
So the National Trust is the one that's embedded in taking care of that property first.
Okay, good night. You're not controlling the show. You call somebody else and do that. Folks, the Crown acquired Rodney Bay, sold to the Crown Pigeon Island for $1. In purchasing, listen well, in purchasing Pigeon Island for $1, just as in any other transaction in business, the Crown acquired the lease. That's right. The Crown acquired the lease. So now the National Trust has to pay the new owner. It's just like if you're renting an apartment and you sell it to the caller who just called. He has to collect the rent. Everything else now falls under him because he is now the legal owner. So why is it that last year the trust ran and paid the back rent of $1 a year for 20 years or how many years that they had not paid? Why? Good night, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Yes, good night. Hello?
Good night, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. I normally don't call because, I have a lot of people talk a lot of nonsense, but this is it, on the lease, the lease part of it.
Yes.
Government paid the woman $70,000 to release the lease she had on Pigeon Island. People seem to forget that. We paid the woman $70,000 to release the lease. Okay. And the other thing too is that the National Provident Fund when it was being started, the Labour Party did not want it. They said that's taking people money and putting it into their pocket.
That's correct.
Right? And because what was happening too, and then with the NIS money,
caller, you're going way back. You're going to National Provident Fund, you hit NIS, and you're coming back in time NIC.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, what was happening, the chairman had a discretion. He used to deposit the money in the banks to suit him. And what happened is the banks now were using the NIS money to do their own business. So I don't see why the people are making all the fuss now. They don't know what happened at the time to follow it up and so on.
The documents are there.
Right.
The documents are there. Okay. Thank you very much for calling.
Okay,
Thanks for
then.
keeping it real. Thank you. Folks, Rodney Bay Limited sold to the Crown Pigeon Island for $1. Out of that sale, the government acquired the lease. The lease has certain stipulations. There was no expunging, if you want to use that word, or there was no change to any of that. The trust is bound by the terms of that to lease Pigeon Island at $1 a year for 99 years. Nothing changed. The caller who called a while ago doesn't have any information that nullifies that lease. And I'm saying on behalf of St. Lucians that we should open up Pigeon Island to the people as per the agreement signed by the St. Lucia National Trust. And if you want to put it up again, let's put it up again, because some people may find difficulty. The lease that was referred to on the section, the clause in the agreement, clause 6D1, it says the company shall, that's not it there, that's not it. In the lease, 6D1, third page, says the company shall have the right but shall not be obliged to develop Pigeon Island other than the area shaded yellow as a national park only, but shall be obliged to afford to the public free access to the island. That was the whole spirit of the arrangement. That is the whole reason why the trust is there and was there. And those are the facts, folks. Look at the last line, the line before, but shall be obliged to afford to the public free access to the island, which includes the beach, which includes the Queen's Chain, which includes the island. What can I say? Information was there for you to read, and if anybody wants to challenge this, come with other information which suggests or proves otherwise. Meanwhile, the people of St. Lucia want to enjoy the beach at Pigeon Island. And I think forthwith, based on the information that has been expressed here tonight, the government should write to the National Trust and ask them to relinquish or to stop immediately the fees for entrance to the park, unless it is fees with regard to what's in the lease. That's it for tonight, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got something to think about. I'm sure the discussion will be raging tomorrow and beyond. Thank you all of us, all over St. Lucia for joining again. Ancillary, Canneries, Dennery, Mico, Richford, Grosley, Cap Estate, Viewfort, and all around St. Lucia. Thank you so much. All of you in the diaspora, thank you so much for tuning in once again. And the listeners on Sky FM 93.1, good night to all of you. I'm Norbert Williams with another episode of Keeping It Real. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week, Tuesday, I'm Norbert Williams. Good night.
The opinions expressed on this TV program by the hosts, guests, and callers are solely their opinions and responsibility. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Hot 7 TV or its affiliates.
Hot 7 TV is the rising star of television in St. Louis.